Welcome to the Isle Chat podcast with me, Beth,
Josh,
and Ryan.
This podcast is all about exploring the big questions, the small moments, and everything in between.
Whether you're stuck at the shops, in traffic, or just looking for some inspiration, our chat is here to keep you engaged.
It's time to talk, connect, and find meaning in those everyday moments.
welcome to the Isle Chat.
So before we get into this week's podcast, basically what we've been aware of is that we never mentioned about who we are behind this podcast. The funny thing about that is we're actually self-sponsoring it. And while we don't have any other sponsors in that place, unless you want to get involved, we thought it'd be a good time to actually introduce ourselves and what we do. So my name is Ryan and I run Roll and Stop Photography Shop, a photography business based out of Liverpool, but also go all over the UK.
I am Josh, one half of Memory Box Films with Beth. We are a wedding videography team based in the Northwest.
And the boss thing is about us, as well as the podcast, we do joint packages together. So if you haven't actually booked your photographers and videographers for 2025 and 2026 season, which does come around quicker than you think, definitely worth checking out both of our social pages and finding out a little bit more about who we are behind. Anything to add, Joshy?
Well done, Ryan.
There you go. Now into the podcast. We've got our mate on, Jess from Stix Stems. Massive guest for us, in our opinion. I won't say high level because we don't want to make anyone feel bad, but she's up there.
Awkward.
Can I also say we've also got our Beth back. She was missing a couple of weeks because she's been ill. So Beth, welcome back to the show. And the person that you can't hear, but obviously if all three of us are in these places, there's another person to my left. Our mate Matthew, the producer, who is back with a vengeance. And he feels good to be back in the seat. You can't hear him, but he's there.
Hi everyone.
There he is.
The myth, the legend, Matthew.
Owens.
MO Media.
I love that, you know.
And we are back in the room.
We are back.
So, Jessica. Do you get called Jessica?
From my mum.
Okay. And us.
Yeah.
Jess. You are well? You've just had a very crazy time, haven't you, at the back of Valentine's week?
Yeah. I feel like the chaos is still here.
Still lingering.
But I'm just like riding the wave. Like I don't know. It's just, when you're busy, it just like motivates you, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And you've just
it snowballs.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm on a high.
Yeah. Is this like one of the busiest times of year for you then? Like,
Well, it's the first time I've done it. So yeah. So like I think we've been going for like 4 or 5 years. I should know that.
No,
but we've been going a while. And I just thought like I'm gonna do it this time.
How do you sort of promote that though? If you've not been doing it before, how do you sort?
That's the issue. Like I'm not a shop where you can just walk in and buy a bouquet. Like and like I've never advertised myself as that. And like over the years, I am on like a mini high street. Like, well, it's just a small village and it's the high street of the small village.
Yeah, but it's still a high street so people can access it.
Yeah. But like over the years, like I've sort of not turned people away, but sort of told them that they're not coming to the right place.
We're closed.
Yeah. Do you know what?
We're already starting.
You can already cut it if it's bad.
Yeah, when I was with my business partner years ago, and like the business was a little bit different back then, but people used to walk to the door and we used to go, oh, for God's sake, we're closed.
We're not in.
There's nothing.
Like we didn't want walk-ins as bad as it sounds. Like we will chat to them and we will try and make it work. But like at the time we wasn't doing fresh. We was doing dried, and then like now we're only doing events. So like we're only doing like weddings, I don't know,
corporate stuff,
anything like that. But then this year I was like, oh, I want to do it. Like I want to know what it's like. I want to feel
talking on the point of like walk-ins, when we had our Karen in from Second Chance Gardens, she was basically saying like about having appointments because you can find yourself when people do walk in, they're just time wasters. Yeah. So is that one of the reasons why you were like, I'm trying to like defend you a little bit? There was a reason.
Yeah, there was a reason. So like our space is just a studio space.
Right.
And like we are out all the time doing events. So we didn't want to like my husband and like a few of my family members didn't understand why we wasn't opening as a shop, and they was like, you need your opening times on the door. And we were saying, no, it's by appointment because we need to be prepped for somebody coming in. It needs to be clean and we need to have like the products that they've come to look at, or
We need to be presentable as well.
We need to be.
Sure it is.
Exactly. Sometimes I don't even manage to do that. But, I mean, the business has changed, which we'll probably go into, but... yeah,
I want to go into that, actually. I do want to go into that.
Can I just say before we go into that, just dropping it on the Valentine's Day thing, because it's behind us now.
Yeah.
I said this to you, and I don't think you really felt it like I felt it. Yeah. I could not get those roses out of my mind.
Yeah. I really wanted to put some in for you, but I don't have any roses, and I wasn't... I couldn't get any quick enough.
That's all right. But it was a success. Would you do it again?
I'll definitely do it again next year.
Is it like just a week of craziness, or is it like is it like a month build up, or is it just like last minute people buying?
I was marketing it, so I did mock-ups about 6 weeks ago. Like, I knew that I wanted to go for like a certain look. Like, I didn't want to do like a huge bouquet full of foliage, even though like they're amazing. I just wanted like a bit of a minimalistic look because the roses are so amazing. I wanted to just focus on the rose. So like if people was buying like a 12 stem bouquet, it was just a 12 stem bouquet. It didn't have like a load of foliage in. But every rose was like reflexed, so it was like every petal was basically turned inside out to like make it giant. So I did mock-ups like 6 weeks ago, and then I marketed it. I basically like won a content day with a local girl, so I was like, I'll use her for that. Like, that will be perfect. So we had like a dead fun day of like doing pictures, videos, and then I've just been hammering it the last few weeks, but then I've realised that my following isn't guys. Like, the husband's just follow, you know what I mean? And I've been saying to like local people, like, spread the word for me, blah, blah, blah. And I've sponsored a few ads. I've posted on Facebook for the first time in 2 years because I don't really use Facebook, but then I've realised that Facebook is good for like local people. And like, I'd say like the older generation.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Like, I just love Instagram. I'm obsessed with it. I'm addicted to it. It's sad.
I think you're really good at it though, just touching on Instagram.
I love it. Like, I think I'd probably do social media if I didn't do this. But yeah, so I was marketing it for ages, and like I wasn't really getting many orders, and I was thinking, where are all the men?
We're all the men.
And like my plan was to, like, before the roses died from mock-up, I wanted to like do a little flyer and like stick them in people's window screens, like at the gym, and do you know, like, being cute.
You are.
And my husband was like, aim for the high-end cars, the German way. But I never did it because I was just tied up doing other things. But there was a lot of prep, just because I'm a perfectionist and I didn't want it to like look rubbish. And
it didn't, because I did see the pictures. The pictures were amazing.
So yeah, it took a while. But I think I've learned like next year I might make more of an arrangement rather than just the roses. I don't know. We'll see. It
was a good first go, I would say. A very good first go.
But talking about you've got two customers for next year. Yeah, or three actually.
1000%. Talking about like the prep and the thought process and the why, I guess, for why you've just done all that. Yeah. Take us a little bit further back, because we know a little bit about you, but only what Instagram tells us. Yeah. But you weren't always Stix and Stems. What was Jess before Stix and Stems?
I'm thinking, how far back?
You don't have to go back to school. Like,
well, I was born in 91. I'm joking. So Stix, like, I don't even know how it was. It was literally just an idea in COVID. So I was in law, I was a solicitor, and
my God,
it's funny, isn't it?
I've seen that somewhere. That's why I was quite interested in this.
I told Matt this before. He's probably thinking this bloody story again. So I was in law, and I'm not gonna lie, I was miserable. Like, I mean, I was still smiling every day because I'm just like, this is what I was. But I was.
All the solicitors are listening now, going, "Yeah, I'm gonna switch off of this."
Gonna make a flower shop.
In the kitchen, everybody was the same. Like, we was all just like, "Oh, when are we retiring?" Like, I was literally 27.
What law firm did you work for?
Can I?
We'll bleep it out.
Oh, well, No, because it wasn't the firm. So I've worked for a few.
Okay.
I worked for carpenters in Liverpool. So I've got like.
I used to work in Weetman's, you see.
Did you?
Yeah.
You was probably on the other side.
Yeah.
So I was on Old Hall Street for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I moved over to Seacombe, over at the Wirral, because I had to do like my training. So I moved over for my training contract, and I did like a secondment in house for RSA law. So like
none of us are intelligent enough to know everything that you're saying.
I'm just sitting there like nodding along.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I had to go like training.
Yeah.
But you do it like
Dumb it down for
us. So I'd done my university, and then you've got to get a training contract, which are really, really hard to come by. So it'd been a few years, and like I was in the firm for I think 4 years, and they still hadn't like given any out because it's expensive for them to give it out. Sorry, I feel as though I'm going around the houses now. So they finally put them out, and like we had the interviews. I think there was like 40 people who went for it, and I got it, but it was like blood, sweat and tears to get it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But by that time, I was already like falling out of love with it. But I was sort of like tumbleweed. Like I had to get to that end point. I had to qualify. Like I'd spent a fortune on my degree, and then my masters. Like at the time, you couldn't get a student loan for your masters. I had to get like a personal loan. That was in Chester. Like I studied in Liverpool, but I went to the University of Chester. And then I just needed to tick it off. I needed to qualify
for yourself.
Yeah, and then. Like,
it's something you can always go back into and not that you're ever gonna do that now.
Oh,
but it's something that like.
Yeah, I don't regret it. It sort of taught me a few things about work ethic. Like
I think sometimes it tells you that like it's not for you as well.
Exactly. Yeah. And like you change as a person, don't you? So for me at the time, like it was, and like when you're in school, it's drilled into you to like go and get like a corporate job, isn't it really? And like my dad in the pub used to tell people that I was a barrister. Like I am really not a barrister.
I do that about everyone. My sister's a solicitor, and I still go around and Beth's friends. We just tell everyone the barristers.
No, but it's fine. Yeah, like obviously for some people it's their dream job, and it was for me at the time. But then like maybe my personality changed, or I just changed.
This is a lot creative though compared to.
Oh, I know.
So it's
I know. Well, I felt as though right. We'll move forward. So COVID hit. COVID hit. I qualified finally. And then I was just miserable. Like I was. They put like from your friend will probably tell you, but like the workload is so high. Like they'll never put you at a workload that you can deal with because they want you under pressure.
I know we're going into like the law terminology here a little bit, but isn't it all to do with like numbers and stuff? So it gets so like you put the hours you've got to do in.
Yeah, you've got to like. I mean, I've sort of let it go out of my mind now, but like you've got to put your units down, and like you can't really finish your day until you've got the amount of units. And then in COVID, everybody started working from home, and I just hated it. Like I just slacked all day, and then at night I was working because I had to get my units done. And I was thinking, it's not for me. It wasn't when I was in the office. The only pro of the job for me was like my colleagues. And being in the kitchen making cups of tea.
She makes a cracking cup of tea.
But I was
Units shit, but the tea is great.
Yeah, like I was just always like thinking of a way out.
Yeah. And this is your way out.
Literally, yeah. So, like, obviously, COVID come around. Me and my husband, we just got married. So we got married in the... How long have we got, by the way?
3 hours later.
I was late to come.
When did you get married?
So we got married the November before COVID. So
wow, so you're lucky there, aren't you?
But we got married in Mexico, and all our guests was booked with Thomas Cook. And do you remember when they went bust?
Yes.
So they went bust like a few weeks before we was due to fly. So we had to get 50 people rebooking. And I was like, oh my God, it's the worst thing in the world. Can't believe this has happened. And then COVID hit. And everybody's... Yeah. So I thought I was like really... put out by it, but then it happened to everybody else. But yeah, we got married just before COVID, and then we booked. We planned our honeymoon more than we planned our wedding. Like we planned 4 weeks in Australia, but we wanted to look for work out there, and like my husband's a quantity surveyor and like out there, that's great.
Oh yeah, I can
so
imagine,
we was like, right, that's us, we're starting this new life. Like he was literally looking at.
And did you start seeing this as your like way out?
I was done. Like I was done with law, so I knew, like, I didn't know what I was going to do in Australia. I literally said I want to sell ice creams on Whitsundays Island. Like that's all I want to do. Like I don't want to do anything corporate. I just want to get. Maybe it was an escapism just to like get out of law, like move to the other side of the world.
Yeah,
probably a good way to do it. Move to the side of the world.
Yeah.
So like we had the 4-week honeymoon booked, and we had our cases packed and everything, and like we was going on the Thursday, and there were on the news it was saying like, oh, Sydney's going into lockdown. So it was like, right, we'll change our flight to the Tuesday. We'd rather be locked down in Sydney.
Yeah.
So we did that, and it still got, I think it then got cancelled in the end. But like I couldn't speak about it for about 12 months because I was like, there's our new life, like just gone. So then like my husband was supporting all the ideas I was coming up with, just to sort of like help me get out. Why am I making it out like it was a shocking job? It wasn't that bad.
But it is right. You do start, because I did this.
We've all done it.
Like you do try, and you start to like feel like you are just totally separate to the thing that you do. Everything about who you are, what you do, what you say.
You're wasting your life.
And you do need to, it does need to kind of feel that way to you as well, because until you put that pressure on yourself to go, this is not you, this is not who you're meant to be, you do just kind of like, and then you just need to pull the plug.
Do you know what's quite sad though? I think there might be people listening to this podcast who work in an office, who were in your position, who were in their position now, and I think what you've just said then, and where you are now, which we're going to go on to really, is it's inspiring, I think. So it's good that you're saying all this, because people will be there going, I'm in a 9-to-5 job, I don't like it. And
especially at the time that you actually was thinking about leaving as well, and especially you know that this whole coronavirus is on the horizon, and it actually brings me to a little point that you shared on your own socials, where it says, when it feels scary to jump, this is exactly when you jump, otherwise you end up staying in the same place your whole life. You said that.
I did.
Put it on the wall.
Put it on the wall. But it's so true. And most people who do build up the courage and the flexibility in the mind to be able to think that they could at least start to do something else, when they do, look at what's happened. And
like you'll excel in anything that you enjoy. Like you'll put the hours in to do your research and like learn a new skill or whatever. But I get so many messages now, like even like random people on Stix, like if they hear that I was in law, like they'll message, or like a lot on my personal as well, because I've got like, I made so many amazing friends, like even best friends from law. And like they message me all the time saying, oh, like I'd love to do that. Like one of the girls I used to work with at Carpenters, she's just started like a prop business, and I try and help them and like give them advice, and like I've never looked back, and like you've probably had guests on with a similar story, and they've said they've never
almost
looked back
every
as
single
well.
one. It was included.
I mean, it is still nerve-wracking. It's not like it's easier. This is 24/7, isn't it, when you work for yourself?
I think a lot of people do look at you though and think, oh, they've got to do these then, because they only for us, you do so many weddings a year, and they don't see, like, you're not guaranteed them weddings. You've got to market your business. You've got to I
think it takes more of a mental game than it does from a physical side. In some
you've got to be self-motivated, haven't you?
If that law firm asked you to work till 1 o'clock on the night, cutting off some sort of letterheads or whatever, I don't know, you would obviously say no, or you would really begrudge doing it. But if you're sticking up,
you work crazy hours in law as well. So like I was there at weekends not getting paid.
Because you had to get your units in.
No, because the workload's so high. So I feel like it's expected, and like you sort of like it depends on the firm, but like each team, it like at the end of the month it says like top biller, like this person brought in this.
I remember all this.
Do you remember this?
You probably worked there about 5 minutes, lad.
I didn't work there.
Was you top biller?
He was top biller.
I was
at least there for 2 birthdays and 2 Christmases.
Oh, amazing.
They weren't his birthdays. It was someone else's.
I didn't want to put my
I bought 2 cards.
yeah. I'm not chipping in this one, guys. I'm
on my way out.
Yeah. I was definitely there for 2 Christmas nights out. I'll never forget them.
Yeah. So I think if you're working for like the boss man or you're self-employed, like they still like they expect a lot from you as well, but they're not paying you. But you get brainwashed that other people coming in a weekend, or like I want to be top biller, so I should come in a week. I should miss like family parties.
Downtime, your time, yeah.
So you said the other week you love water.
Water, I do love water.
Another little drink that you might have mentioned. Can you remember what you said?
I said I think I can see
She's looking in the fridge being like...
I always say it wrong. San Pellegrino.
Pellegrino.
My hairdresser will laugh now.
Yes.
I'm good, I've got water there, thanks.
When I go to the hairdressers, he always says, I've got your favourite drink, so he'll laugh if he
There's your Coke. Now, can I just say as well, obviously, San Pellegrino is the drink that we're going for here. Not sponsored, by the way. There are other lemonade drinks out there. But the orange San Pellegrino especially, it was more difficult to get hold of than I anticipated. I must say.
Where did you go for this?
Where didn't I go?
You had to go to St. Helens to get it.
I had to go to St. Helens. The only brewery in St. Helens.
Yeah.
That's it. But this is for you.
I love the way he's
thank you so much. Now
when your water runs out, you've got you can put it on the side.
Yeah, I'll put it on the side. I don't want to ruin the aesthetic. I'll put it there.
What aesthetic? What, next to the Christmas card?
The aesthetic is that it's not there, so I'll put it there.
That's where the Christmas card was. When Carla said it on the last episode, I was thinking, I've never seen that Christmas card.
Christmas card
off here, wasn't
it?
Yeah.
It was indeed.
Actually, I'll have a little drink of that.
Come on.
Cheers. Hey, actually, my first request was a gin and tonic.
Well.
So I'm driving.
Oh, she's driving.
I can't.
One and drive.
Can I have a sip and drive? I can have.
Like I said, we look after our guests.
Oh, now I've got 3 drinks. Thank you. Right, I'll move on to that in a minute.
We're just going for the break because Jess needs to wee.
Every 2 seconds.
Just calm down on the gin, love.
That's how we get you talking. You see, bring our guests and go, drink.
Ply them with ale. Yeah.
I'll be getting a taxi or an Uber.
Give us 3 rings when you get in.
Just to catch you up, we've been talking about Jess's law degree and how she was a top biller. And now we're moving on to how... Now we're moving on to... So you're having these ideas.
Yeah.
In what order was Stix? Like, was that your first idea or was that just in the realm? I feel like I'm calling it Stix now. Like
well, I can't remember the other ideas.
They were all shit.
Irrelevant now. Yeah. So I had a bit of when in my wedding flowers I had fresh, but then I had a little bit of pampas and pampas grass at the time. It was the trend.
The thing.
It was everybody wanted it, and then I got home from my wedding. I was like, I'd like some of that in my house. But at the time, like there wasn't many like pages around like. I don't know, sold pampas grass. So and then when I did find a few pages, it was really expensive. So I was like, right, I'll try and source it and like sell it basically. And then I thought, I don't want to set up a page and like do it all on my own. So I spoke to my best friend. She's from a creative background. She's an interior designer.
Wow, okay, yeah.
But like we're literally like best friends, like sisters. So like we were born on the same day. We started year 7 together and we've been inseparable ever since.
What's her name?
Ashley.
Oh, shout out Ashley. Little mention for you.
Love a shout out on it, by the way.
Yeah, so I was like, Ashley, like, what do you think of this? Like, I knew that she like had the aesthetics, even though like I don't. It's just a confidence thing as well. It's good to go into business with someone. I'm not mentioning the times where we screamed at each other in the shop, but yeah, so we sort of like
we've all been there.
I mentioned it to her. I ordered them in. She came round to my house and we like shot pictures like round the house because that's literally all we did. We just did like dried like pampers. That was it. That was our only product and bunny tails. And like so we opened the page. We was dead nervous.
What was the original name then? Was
it was Stix Stems.
Wow, that's a good name to start off with.
Where did you get that from?
Kim G, my best friend, my other best friend. I think she might have named it. It was just we wanted like an and in there.
One represents you and one represents Ashley, is it, or not?
No. Just, that would be cute. Let's
pretend that was it.
I'll be Stix, she can be Stems. So we got the name, we opened the Instagram, and then like we just shot like around my living room. I think it was midsummer, so like the lighting was amazing. I mean, you look back at the picture and you're like, oh, but she's a perfectionist, and I feel like I'm all right with pictures as well. So like my own Instagram, like I still plan my feed on my own Instagram. It's sad. It is so sad. You're looking like
curation. I think it's really good.
I just look like I've always loved Instagram ever since like when I was in uni. I used to do outfit of the day and things when I was going to like my lectures. And like people probably think it's weird, but I've always enjoyed it.
No, I don't think it is. I think what it is, and you've already touched on this a little tiny bit, is all the things that you did pre-Stix all seem to be combinative ingredients towards this.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
So this love of Instagram has obviously helped you be good at Instagram for your business.
Yeah.
It's just what people call pivotal skill set.
But then I was also going to say, recently, Greg mentioned on a story, if Instagram closed down tomorrow, the likes of us, our business is relied on Instagram.
Yeah.
I think we get a lot of our work, Beth, don't we, through Instagram. Yeah. So I don't know, is the same for you?
Absolutely. Like I'm not really tech savvy. Well, I know how to work Instagram, but I've not moved over to TikTok yet.
No.
And like no, and I should, but I'm just busy doing what I'm doing. But like Ashley, she had a skill set that I didn't have, or like thought I didn't
strengths and weaknesses.
Exactly. So like I maybe was more like business minded, and she was like super creative, like, but she was also like she'd do anything. So she built our website and like coded it, and she can also do like graphic design and all that. So she did our logo, she did a full brand pack for us. And like she will also, I don't know, she's just so creative.
Oh, Ashley,
she's amazing. And then I didn't have. I felt like I didn't have much skill set to give her, so I probably was trying to give her what I could in terms of packing orders and the things that I could do. I was trying to do, but then when you work with somebody like. And Ashley was amazing at like the wedding bouquets. I'd sort of let her do that, and I'd like end up just doing the bridesmaid bouquets, and yes. I'd end up putting more pressure on her because I'd be like, no, it's Ashley who's creative, or like I'd sort of let her have the final say on the grid.
Right.
So like when she's moved to Dubai now, so she. Yeah.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah, so she moved to Dubai, which was amazing for her. Like, she told me, and I was like, on a friend level, it's like the best thing you can do.
Of course.
But on a business partner level, I was like,
you're leaving me?
And then my reply to her when she texts me, because this is what we do, like, we text, even though we're best friends. We don't, like, just hop on the phone. We're like, I'm scared to tell you this, I'll just text it. So she texted me saying, like, she was hinting at it for a while, and, like, it was a good move for her, so I was happy for her. But then my text back to her was, "You've got to be joking, I'm pregnant." like we both can't not be there. So it was a bit like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? But now I'm on my own. I've ended up being a bit more motivated.
Right. Yeah.
And like I've gone full steam ahead with like the creative side, and I love it.
You're in the deep end at that point, aren't you? Because you can't rely on someone else. Yeah. So
we opened that Instagram, and we shared it on our personals. But we've been teasing it a bit on the personal, so like people was already like, I'll buy it when you open, and then we just said order via DM, so it was like the most informal thing ever, a little bit cringe, but so we just worked from my garage at home.
So was it that busy though? I mean, like,
oh my God, like I can't even tell you, like we got 30,000 followers in like 2 months.
Oh,
it went.
I feel like I remember the pamper grass like craze. Yeah. Like it just come from nowhere. And the fact that you had it in your bridal bouquet, it's like, How did you even get that? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like you started the trend, really.
No, I definitely did.
Yeah, but it is.
Just at that point meant to go, yeah.
Just as a reality check station. Oh my God, I wasn't I?
It was me. No, it wasn't in my bouquet. It was in the the centerpiece. But like it was sort of like new at the time, and then everybody just wanted it, and I don't know, they must have found our page, and everyone was. We probably did like a giveaway at the start or something to get the shirts out there, and then like we had a load of influencers message us saying like, because it's funny now, because the way you think about it is, oh, I'll just buy it. It's like, I don't know, like 20, 30 pounds, I'll just buy it. But the amount of messages we was getting, maybe they couldn't get it locally because we was posting it.
Where was you getting it from?
Overseas.
Okay. And that's all we'll say on that.
Good answer.
There was we had like 3 different supplies on the go, because some would arrive and they'd be a bit like crushed or but we like there was the fluffiest pampers you could ever.
And then in terms of that trend, are you constantly looking for like the latest trends then? Because that's something that you've got to do, and I would imagine in your line of work is like look for.
Well, only the last like year have I moved over to fresh, because like I say, that was a huge trend, and I think the reason why it took off is that everybody was on the phone in COVID,
right?
And everybody opened a home account. Like it was just all home accounts following us.
Was actually.
So there was thousands of home accounts following, and then they'd probably follow on the personal. They'd all be like trying to renovate the home, and we'd say like, send us a picture of your vase, your measurements, and we'll do a mock-up for you, and then we'll post it out. And like we was getting parcel, well, when we was in my house, we was just posting them out on every, what did they used to be called?
Oh, Yodel, is it?
No.
Not Yodel.
No.
Oh, I know. Deep now.
So bad.
The American company, innit? I think.
American?
Yeah.
What was
I don't even know what you said.
Oh, it's going to do the head. Is it yellow?
No.
It wasn't.
Hermes, yeah. So we was using them. So we was taking these big, massive tubes of Pampers to every corner shop. So like we'd fill up the van multiple times a day. I can't tell you how busy we was, because now I've closed the website. I can't really be bothered with postal orders. I prefer to do events.
Yeah.
But so we'd fill up the car and we'd go to the corner shop, because that's where they collected from, or sometimes they collect from the house. But every corner shop hated us, because we'd pull up with like huge boxes and we'd have to like leave them in the corner shop for every to collect. But then every started like losing some, so then we changed over to Parcel Force, who was really, really good, but they charged like $8.99 to post. And we can only charge the customer probably $6.99, and our box is probably £4, so we're making a loss. But then it got us the business, so we then like outgrown our garage quickly. My husband had like his motorbike in there, and there was like all Pampers on it. He's like OCD.
Sorry, love that.
Yeah, he's like OCD, and it was just full of fluff all the time. So he basically kicked us out. So we moved to like the space that I'm still in now. And then we got Parcel Force coming 3 times a week and like just filling the van. But we built like a really good relationship with them, and like I still check in with the postman now. Like, I'm like, how's your wife? How's your girls? Because he was with us 3 times a week, and he'd stand at the door going, come on, girls. And we'd literally, like, me and Ash would go as fast as we could with the ribbon and everything, just to like get it in the box and gone. But like, it's funny to look at like how the business has changed so much, because now I really do it. I'll do a postal every now and again, but not like to the extent that we used to.
Yeah. Let's talk about weddings. And obviously with your business, it does involve being in the weddings.
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously flowers mainly.
No, but I mean, is it like bouquets? Are you dressing the room?
No, I didn't mean that.
No, I'm the worst person for asking questions. I don't give you the question at all to go round it and don't ask it.
Whatever comes with room dressing. So like we try and do as much as possible. So not to be like a one-stop shop, but to take the stress away from the brides.
Makes complete sense for them to go to you for everything, isn't
it?
Yeah,
it all ties in better, doesn't it?
So like if they come to us for flowers, and then they'll go to somebody else for like, I don't know, like chair end material, and we're using a different material on the table, it doesn't really tie in as nice if, you know, like if it's a different texture or a slightly different colour or a different vibe. It's just best to sort of go to the one person, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So we've got a bit of a catalogue going on now. So we've got like a load of props, a mirror, signage. I get a lot of help like with a freelancer who does like stationery and signage. I can get like neon signs.
Was this, can I just say, sorry to interrupt you, but was this always the plan?
No.
Did you, because what I'm seeing is you've done this, you've had this idea, you've created this like overnight success, let's just call it, even though it weren't, because obviously you've put hours into it.
It sounds like it was, to be honest with you.
It's really happened very quickly, is what I'm saying.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
But you're coming up and you're doing weddings and stuff like that. Was this all on the cards? Was this always your thought? I want to go into weddings and I want to do this and I want to have these signs come in and I want to... No. Or is that just being an evolution? Yeah,
it's just been... I've just continued what I enjoyed, I think. Yeah. So, like, when we was doing Dried, we did do weddings as well. So, like, I don't know if there was as much of a demand then, but... we did like a few weddings and that was the part that we loved to do. I also do like installations in hairdressers and restaurants and bridal shops. So I've like networked with a few like shop owners, like a bridal store who went there and did that. So yeah, I feel as though like I've always loved the wedding side, like from the beginning. So I've just sort of like grasped onto that and like marketed it.
Do you know what I want to ask as well, while we're on top of like coming into the weddings, what's like the most popular thing? Because I don't really know the difference between like Dried and...
Okay. So
what's the thing now that everyone wants?
The theme?
Yeah.
I mean, like this is just this is just my favourite, and like I feel like I market my favourite and hope that people will come to me with the same.
But you're more passionate about what you're interested in, which is your favourite.
Yeah, so I feel like I like the look of I don't know. It's hard to say like what is your favourite, what are people loving? They're loving obviously the single stem in like the bud vases, and so there's a lot of this summer is single stem, like minimalistic, but with like a modern twist.
Okay.
And like, there's a lot of people who've booked in who want like a wild look. So I feel like almost like you've ran through a field and like just picked it up.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like depending on the venue, it looks like it was already there.
Right.
But it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I feel like that's where a lot of people are headed this summer.
Sorry, you know when you're saying dried?
Yeah.
What is dried?
So it's like dried and preserved. It's like, for example, well, it started with like the pampas, but eucalyptus, you can get that preserved, so it's everlasting, doesn't die. But it's a little bit different in colour, so it's like a deeper green. So like if I feel like the business, like obviously it started with this type of product, and like the selling point of it was you can keep your bridal bouquet and like you can put it in a vase on your dining table.
So it's not fake, it's real.
Oh, it's not fake.
Like,
yeah.
You can.
Yeah. So I never got that.
That's right. You're saying dried, and I was like, because she's not saying fake.
You don't have to apologise. We just didn't know.
Yeah. So like we'd use a lot of dried hydrangea, so it'd still look white and perfect. The petals would be a bit smaller, but like I would say to my customers, like you can keep this forever. Like with your bridesmaids, it's a gift to them. Yeah. And like that's what they love about it.
That's a massive selling point.
It's a huge selling point, and I've still got a huge market for it. But now I've also got a huge market for fresh.
Yeah, you can't beat the smell of fresh flowers as well.
Oh, you can't. Yeah, you can't beat it.
Just baffling, to be honest with you. Yeah, because I just thought real flowers, fake flowers. That's my.
That's why I was like, no, I don't do fake. No.
Mad,
and a lot of people say to me like, oh, the artificial ones, and I'm like, no, they're not artificial, they're still real.
So they never die?
If they're sat in the sun in a window ledge, they might discolour, but they are everlasting.
How are they everlasting?
I've seen like in like the Trafford Centre, they have like in the food court, they have like roses in like preserved like jars.
This is them. They're a lot more expensive.
Yeah. What keeps them alive then?
Well, I do buy them in.
Love.
Yeah.
Have you just totally headfirst delved into like the world of floral now?
Oh,
do you know what I mean? Like things you didn't know before, like has it become something that you can just sit there and like I know I did it and you probably did it as well. Like when we were finding our passions and we thought, oh, this is actually going somewhere, and you start telling yourself like, oh no, I really want to know more about this now. So you're sitting there watching like, maybe not in your case, maybe YouTube videos about like people, how they'll arrange or where they'll source, or I'm just interested.
No, yeah.
Yeah. I'll show you this video really quick whilst I've got it. So that's the fresh and that's the preserved. You can't tell, can you? I'll show you guys. So like there's the fresher behind it and the preserved.
The preserved actually looks better because the colour is better.
I actually think the preserved looks better as well.
Amazing,
more like
it?
yellowy.
They're harder to work with because you can't shape them. So like it's a big trend now to it probably answered your question before, but a trend this year is reflexing the roses. Like I did on Valentine's, which you love. But you can't do that with a preserved one.
Okay.
And also it comes without a stem. So I have to make a stem. So it takes a while. But it just means that I have to gauge.
So you have to put the stem on every single flower?
Yeah, like wire it. So it takes a really, really long time, which again adds to the cost.
How long?
Yeah, of course.
How long?
Not too long. Like just probably like 5 minutes. Like not too long.
So I was thinking
if that's like a massive, but if that's on like a level where people want like hundreds at the wedding.
You just have to charge an uplift.
Okay, how expensive are we talking? Don't tell me figures, but just like, how expensive? Is it expensive?
Do you know what? Fresh, the price of fresh has been raised like recently. So it doesn't work out much more. I think it only works out like £10 more for a bridal bouquet in preserved than fresh. So it's not much more.
And you get to keep it forever.
Yeah, but it just depends on the look that people are going for. Like people come to me straight away for dried or preserved and say, I want to keep it forever. This is my look. And I'm like, yeah, perfect. Or there's some people who say like, I love reflex, like I love a green stem, which preserved don't have. They're all like a bleached white stem. So then I say like preserved isn't for you because of this and this. We can work with fresh. Like.
So do you have like that call with the couple then, like with the bride, and go through everything with them and stuff?
Yeah, so they come in, or I have a call with them. Yeah.
So that's good though, isn't it?
I'm interested because I think this would be us probably if we didn't know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I would have thought you would walk in the shop and go, I like that one.
This is the problem, the talk that we can't have with a lot of suppliers really, is that like the way that we put ourselves out there, all of us, a lot of people don't know that it exists, or like there's an option, or like there's a difference between if you'll get fresh flowers from this place and you can get like these flowers from this place. You just don't know.
I think from my perspective, the only time I ever buy flowers is when it's like birthday, you have something for Beth, and I walk into the shop, see the price and go, yeah, them ones. So I'm just going from that side.
There you go, Beth.
That's my
education.
That's my education. Do you know what I mean? But like, what you're offering.
People who walk to the door and we go, we're shut.
I walk into your shop.
I was going to say before, and I didn't get the chance to put it in, and it's probably stupid now, and I really shouldn't say it now because it's actually mingy. But do you ever used to do this when people used to like, I used to do this when I was younger. I say younger, it was probably the other week. We had the postman puts a letter in the door. People used to post the paper as well. I mean, and granddad's, and used to pretend to be a dog.
Right.
You ever done that? Wow. No, I've done that. Am I the only person
that should be the poll.
So you're putting the paper through the door, and what you'll do is you'll rag the paper and go. I love doing that. It's the funniest thing.
I feel sorry for Matty's ears when you did that.
Sorry, Matty.
Oh,
well, never done that then, no.
That's a good thing. No, I've not done that before. I'm going to try it tomorrow.
I've just started the trends in St. Helens, mate.
All the postmen is good.
Everyone's got a dog on these shops.
Back to the reality. The bouquet side of things. Oh, this is another weird question from me while he's talking about being a dog. Bouquet of flowers.
Yeah.
The old tradition of throwing the bouquet.
Oh, God. Oh, it makes me shiver.
Does it? And you like do not do that at all costs?
Well, I always say, because we just put so much like love into making it, and when I'm at the weddings, I go, "Are you gonna throw this?" And like I asked them I was at Allerton Manor on Saturday, and I said to Katie, "Are you gonna throw this?" She went, "Absolutely not." I went, "Throw one of the bridesmaids."
But that happens a lot, doesn't it? Yeah. So any brides out there who are wanting to throw their bouquet,
throw your bridesmaids.
Yeah, you throw your bridesmaids, don't you?
That's a good shout, actually.
No, it isn't.
Probably easier to throw as well.
But obviously with fresh, they're dying anyway.
Lash them.
In the bin.
But with preserved, never do it. Do you know?
Yeah, I think it is a keepsake, isn't it?
Yeah.
How much do you get to see like the brides on the day, or like anyone on the day? Because I know a lot of people who do like venue arrangements, or they bring the flowers and stuff. That the time together on that day specifically is quite brief.
Minimal, yeah. It depends if we're doing room changeover.
Okay.
So if we're doing room changeover, you know, flipping the room. Oh, I keep doing this.
Who put that there?
Matthew's like that every 5 minutes.
So just like taking a back step. So if they come and see me in the shop, they might see me like sometimes 2 years before, or like
Is that how soon
the
people?
organised ones, yeah.
Do
Or
you prefer it that way though?
I don't know, it's a bit...
The prices go up when you go
calls.
closer.
I'm like, oh, it makes me feel a little
In
bit...
like regards to supply and getting the stock and things, like
Yeah.
how
quick?
how short could they leave it to the wedding?
Well,
realistically, with you being able to get things together?
Yeah, it's not really the stock, it's if I've got that day available now, because when I'm doing like, let's just say like dried and preserved is a million times easier, because once they've been made, they're made, they don't die. So like if I make a centerpiece, I could make one now for a wedding in 3 months, and I could go on holiday and one of the freelancers could place it on the table. Whereas if I get booked for a fresh wedding, I need to like be free on the run up and be free on the day. But it's not like when you should book in, it's if like we're available. But like I can order flowers and they can come in like, well, if I pre-order, I like to do it like 2 weeks before, but I can order them next day. Oh, I don't want to say this because then I'll be getting like brides like, I've changed my colour scheme. But like I try and say like if there's any drastic changes, like maybe like colours, let me know like 10 weeks before. Or like if you want a huge prop, I need to then book another freelancer in, or just be able to plan.
So it's more just availability rather than like the time.
I can get things in quickly if it's fresh. If it's dried, I need longer because it's from overseas. But yeah, I think like if they give me final numbers within like 6 weeks before, I'm happy then.
I was going to say about you doing a wedding. The first time I sort of come across yourself was Natasha and John's wedding.
Oh yeah, they're my friends from school. Yeah.
So what was your involvement on their day?
Oh, so they I don't know if you remember their bouquets, but they had dried and preserved.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not that we don't remember, it's that we didn't know.
Yeah, you didn't know,
For me, I'd pick a bouquet of flowers and I wouldn't know the difference.
Well, on your next wedding, you need to like, well, they probably will be fresh, but every now and again you will get a dried bouquet.
I do recall a bride saying to me, "Oh, these are like preserved. I'm keeping."
Water,
yeah.
So I actually delivered a Valentine's bouquet to one of Natasha's bridesmaids, and my phone died as I was driving down the road and I didn't know the house number. So I was looking at all the houses.
Is yours?
I seen her bridesmaid bouquet in the window. So I was like, that's the one.
I love that.
What is that?
Yeah, it's Hayley.
Love that.
All put in those. So anyway, Tasha and John, what did you give to them? Just the...
I didn't do decor then. They'd already had an event dresser booked in. So she was my best friend when we was in like year 7. St. Helens is a small place, so like so I just did bridal party, and like all the guys things. I was invited to that actually.
Did you go?
I was on holiday. Do you remember when I told you I can go on holiday if I get dried and preserved? I'm gone. No, I would have loved to have gone because all my friends was there, but it was pre-booked. So we was just invited to the night.
Yeah. How many weddings do you do a year then? Is it like a limited amount?
Well, it's the like as we speak now, the business is changing. So like that's why I'm like you're asking me questions and I'm a little bit like reluctant with my answers because it's literally like I'm riding a wave right now and it's changing. There's been a huge shift from dried and preserved to fresh.
Okay.
So people are seeming to like wanting that like wild like garden type look, which you can only get with fresh.
Fresh, yeah.
But last year I was doing a lot of postals because, like I said, I can make them months before or weeks before, and I just post them out, make sure they're all like bubble wrapped, and people was taking them overseas. So like I had Greece, Italy, I have had a few Greece, like what else did we have? We had the Maldives.
Wow.
Yeah.
Get that on your Instagram.
Did you have to deliver to those places?
Can deliver.
Yeah, so there's because like they know how they're gonna look. Like obviously I got married abroad as well, and I didn't know how things were gonna look. I didn't know if the florists over there were good or what the event dresses. Whereas if you've literally got them in your suitcase, you know how they're gonna look, don't you?
Yeah.
And you can bring them back and keep them. And like they're as light as a feather, so like the case isn't going to be heavy.
I love that when you go to weigh your suitcase and you go, you're over there, get the flowers out, get the flowers.
Yeah. But
walking through the airport with your flowers like that.
Yeah. So I'd say it's funny because maybe my diary isn't as full this year for weddings.
Okay.
But fresh is more time consuming.
Okay.
So
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so like over the years I've had like a lot of people come and collect the flowers, like just postal collecting or like I'd deliver. But now I'm doing fresh. I've not got as much people collecting because doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I just have to deliver it because they need to be in
I do think though with the wedding industry this year in particular, it is quiet for everyone.
Do you?
Yeah, it is. It is.
I'm quite happy though, like...
Well, that's it, isn't it? I think, me personally, I'm happy with where we are, but I think a lot when you go into these shows and fairs...
I think the past 2 years there was still being COVID.
Yeah.
And this is the norm now.
Yeah. I think because obviously like every fresh wedding is like a learning curve, and like I'm such a perfectionist. I'm happy with like, I don't want to take on too many weddings that week, you know what I mean?
Well, I think that's a good thing from your business perspective, because as a client or a couple, you don't want your, someone who's doing your flowers to be like, just, what was that? Just soon and go, are they yours? I don't know. Like, if you being a perfectionist, not that. You being a perfectionist is like what I would want.
Yeah.
Because like, sometimes as well, like, obviously, we don't know flowers. We obviously don't know the difference between dry and fresh, but we will do now. Like, we just think, that's all. We've seen that before. We've seen those white roses. It's like everything's just the same. So like nice sometimes it does seem a conveyor belt, but when it's more personal, that's when people who don't even know would notice the difference. I think, and be like, oh, look at them flowers, aren't they lovely?
Well, I'm trying to like encourage like people to pick up like a unique flower, or because there is trends, like see the
come on, get it out there.
Come on, we might as well make a point of it now. So you did arrive in your lovely Stix Stems van, by the way, which I'm a big fan of that van. I don't think you realise how much I love that van. But you brought something with you, ish.
Yeah, well, Katie on Saturday. So a few of the...
Shout out Katie out at Manor.
I had to over-order for her a few things, so that's why you've got these. I was bringing something anyway.
Oh, I see how it is.
Nice one, Kate.
Yeah. Katie, you've got your hand-me-down
anyway, but like, for example, I had to order like 36 these pistachio anthuriums.
They're called pistachios, yeah?
Yeah. Well, that's the colour. They're called anthuriums. So, like, the painter's palettes. That's the, like...
Was you always interested in flowers, by the way?
No, I'm not going to lie.
Crazy.
It's just mad how, like...
I wasn't. I just...
over there, you know what I mean?
I really am, like, the more I've got into it, like, I've just become obsessed.
Yeah. What's your husband's take on it? Can't move in the house.
I'll tell you a story in a minute about Valentine's Day. I'll just explain these
Good luck
tell
to him for that.
Tell me to come back to it. But yeah, so a huge trend which everyone's asking for more so 2026. And like it's a trend, but like I love it when people come to me for it. It's the calla lilies.
Right.
So like these people just want single stem calla lilies, and it's like editorial fashion.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the type of
I
vibe.
know exactly what you're about, yeah.
So like it's giving like style shoot or like elopement or legal wedding. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. So I think I'm noticing something myself now as well, the way you just said that, because I've noticed loads of people lately, they're making their wedding days into styled shoots in some ways.
Yeah, like more intimate.
And like, I don't know if you actually shared it, and I might have copied off you, really.
Yeah.
That's what it's something to do, is rob ideas.
I'm sharing things
where
all
people
the time.
have put or started to bring like backdrops into their wedding days and incorporated, like, for the couple shoots, the way we obviously take people off for like walks and whatever.
Yeah, I seen you share that. Was on.
Did you see you shared it? So people have been bringing in like actual backdrops to make it a photo shoot on the day. Obviously that might not always work timing wise, but depending on where your venue is. But I think that's the thing, isn't it? People want it more. Like, less is more, I think, is the
intimate is what you're saying as well.
It is funny, like, when you say like less is more, and people come to me and they're like, oh, I want like a minimalistic look, it's not less effort.
Yeah, of course not.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's actually perfecting them. If people say like, oh, I only want 3 products, like, there's probably only 3 products. Well, there's a little bit more, but you've got to make sure that them products are perfect. Yeah. Because they're looked at more. But this colour was a trial, but I usually get these in white. Okay. These are on trend, like, for the next coming, like this year and the year after. So I think we're going to see a lot of these. And like less this is just my opinion, you know, or maybe just what I like.
You're in the industry, and you're basically.
I'm trying to follow the trends. Yeah.
Where do you follow the trends from then?
Australia.
That's funny.
How many people have said about Australia being at the forefront?
We are years behind them. Yeah.
They're like 10 years in front.
Would you go that far with saying 10? Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. I remember my sister sending me.
Oh, I don't know. I put the ribbon on. I just.
Well, that's like Stix and Stems touch, isn't it? Have to be.
My sister lived in Australia for a couple of years, and she told me about stuff that was happening there. That like.
Were behind,
So 10 years behind.
Wasn't like a coffee drive.
Yeah, there was coffee drive-throughs over there.
No way, that'll never happen.
I went in 2012. When did we start getting coffee drive-throughs? Last week. They've only been here for a few years. Like, I would say they were after COVID. Drive-through coffees.
Funny enough, after Mimi, because Mimi Bell said it, didn't she? Yeah. Do you know Mimi Bell? Met her?
Oh, I speak to her all the time. Is it Natalie?
Yeah, Natalie is like the one you speak to.
Yeah.
She's been on here.
I should.
Yeah.
Natalie and Don.
I've never.
She mentioned the Australia thing.
Oh,
she was the start of that.
Yeah. Well, they're just way ahead of us. So like I feel like every page that I follow, like they're all there, like they're just amazing, and like they do. I don't want to bore you too much with flowers, because I know like you guys, and you're probably not too interested.
Whoa.
But
whoa.
Excuse me.
Like, we are modern men.
Men. We'll
we
have
discussed this at length with our mate Estelle a couple of episodes ago. How modern men we are. We're quite effeminate. Have you ever heard anyone talk about how much they love their flowers from a boy's point of view? Girl, I'm with you.
Oh, I love that. So, for example, like the Aussies have been doing this for a while. Like, they always use alternative flowers, like, you know, like, maybe because they're native over there. I'm not sure. I might have made that up. But
they definitely made that up.
But for a while they've been doing, you would have seen this trend where like the bridal bouquet has like an array of flowers, but the bridesmaids have one flower from each bouquet, from the bouquet. And like people are cottoning onto it now, and people are coming in saying like, oh, I'd love to try and recreate that. And then I shared one the other day where all the bridesmaids had a different, like the same shade dress but in different colours. Yeah. And each bridesmaid bouquet
match the colour. I was going to say, this is something that I've cottoned onto in our industry, is sometimes when you're ahead of the game and you're following the trends, do you feel not scared to overshare in case you have people who are looking going, oh, I'll rob her ideas?
No, but what I do feel scared of is people not like getting it.
Yeah, being like, oh, I don't like that. And then
this is
overnight it's the trend. Yeah. And then you're like, okay, I'm getting it.
Like I always try and like put, like, people come to me with an idea that my last customer had the hour ago, and I try and say, like, what about this? Like, what about the anthuriums in white? Like, it just makes it look a little bit different to the last wedding. And some people like are like, no, and that's fine as well. It's their day, it'll still look amazing. But then people go, oh my God, I've not seen that before. It'll make the table look a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
So I always try and encourage them to make like alternative choices. But like going back to the fact that I'm on like a little high street in a little village, like I don't think any of the people around me like get what
they're
I'm
not going to, are they?
No,
really?
No,
yeah.
like
I think that's what I was just going to say before, because I think, not just talk about me now, but like I consciously chose the direction that I was going to try and go in for 2025, bored you to death with it, but it is that like minimalistic. That's my little sign over there.
That. Yeah, it's
just
really nice.
Because originally it was all like, you were always trying to think like, what would people want? But everyone started to hone in now, haven't he? But it's the difficulty for me is like what you just said is, will they get it?
Yeah.
So I'm turning up to people's wedding days.
It's not your person.
I'm turning up to people's wedding days now who booked me like last year maybe, or even the year before, with this new thought process and like trying to give them what they want, but also try and get what I need from it to display like the change.
Yeah.
So it's a very delicate place to sit in, isn't it?
Yeah. Like for me, like you want to give the customer like what they're asking for.
Of course.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
You want to put your twist on it, don't you?
That's why they're coming to you, I think.
know.
You're trying to move forward, aren't you?
Like for example, if I gave that to like Shirley down the road,
Or
she
say,
wouldn't like
let's say me, you're giving that to me. Do I need to water that?
No, it's already in water, in foam. So it'll just stay in there.
What?
It's in.
You didn't know that? Don't you start looking at me like you had a clue?
I knew.
The foam is wet and it'll.
And I never ever have to water that?
No, that's not preserved. That's fresh, so that will die.
Oh.
Sorry. It'll take a while.
And do you know what? We'll have a funeral for it when it does.
Do you know what? I actually thought I should have brought like a little hydrangea to show you. I didn't know we'd be divulging so deep into the business. It's just not good enough, is it? I'll post it to you.
I was looking at thinking we're going to have that for years.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right.
Did you bring that for us, a gift?
Yeah, of course.
Where are we going
I just assumed that it was
Maybe
in my house.
Maybe at the top. Well, I feel like I've seen a lot of. It was giving like tropical vibes, and I feel like I've seen a lot of green in your space. So
these are all
it's gonna work. It's gonna work.
IKEA's finest plants.
Oh, but yeah, people wouldn't like that in where I'm situated in St. Helens. People would walk in and be like, "Oh, that's weird." But I like. It's subjective, isn't it?
Of course,
It's so subjective. Everything creative is subjective.
Definitely.
But that's another reason why, like, my uncle is my landlord and he comes in all the time, and like when I was a beige queen, which I've moved into colour now, but he was always like, sorry, I'm going on again, but he was always like, where's the colour, where's the reds and the pinks, and like he walks in now and says, you need to open this as a shop, and I just go, yeah, but it's not the audience.
Yeah, I understand that what you're saying. Like, people who are walking past won't get it.
No.
Yeah,
no.
I'm on to you.
I mean, obviously there's a load of girls who, like, in my area, like, they all support me, and like loads of them do. Like, that's how we started with the support. But I think, like, maybe the men coming in buying a gift for
I'll be in there.
No, I feel like you two like trendy and like you get it. Like I'm convinced that you guys get it. But like I don't even like my husband, like he might prefer to go down the road to a classic florist and get one.
Well, before we have a break, right, tell us about your husband's story. Valentine's.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
So basically, he always tries to push me, like, but it gives me anxiety. So he
Sorry, what's his name?
Mike.
Mike. Shout out, Mike.
He probably won't listen because he didn't wish me good luck.
He better add.
He best add.
He needs to support you. Come on.
So I'm only joking. He is good, really.
Get that in there.
So he forced me to overorder on Valentine's. He was trying to tell me that like all the guys are last minute, because I was thinking I don't want to put too much pressure on myself. I've got a wedding the next day, fresh, and it's my first one. Yeah, fresh. It's my first one. I just want to like enjoy it and not be stressed out. But then I rang my supplier in Liverpool. And I was saying to him, like, I need 25 more roses. And he said, oh, they only come in hundreds. And I was thinking, I don't need 100. And then Mike was like, he like popped his head through from the kitchen and he was like, buy the 100. And then Ray, shout out to Ray.
She's already got it.
Yeah, but Ray...
She's a quick learner, this one.
Ray was like, you can do it. It's either two guys coming in ordering 50 bunches, like a bunch of 50 roses, or it's a few 12s.
Yeah.
So like, but I'd already ordered over 175. Sorry, I didn't say that. So I'd already put the pressure on myself that like I thought
you're gonna sell 175.
Yeah. I could withhold. So then my husband was like, oh, just get more. So, and then Ray was like, you can do it, Jess. So I had like both of them down my ear. So then I bought them. And like, I was losing sleep the night before, and I was going to Mike, like, they're all going to die. And like, I won't be able to sell them. Nobody's going to want to buy like red roses the day after Valentine's. Like, it's done then, isn't it? But like, you know yourself in business, you're up and down. Like, 1 minute you've got loads of roses left. And then people was pulling me over on the street, by the way, going, have you got any left? So they was selling, but like, I thought the guys was going to be more organised than they was. Like, who was I kidding? But yeah,
you don't know us.
I went in on the Friday and Valentine's Day, and I still had quite a few left. And like my husband thought I was like panicking about it, so he replied to like my DMs, my story, saying I'll buy them, like I want them for you. And I was like, I just ignored him because I was like, no, I need to sell them. And then he got his friend to text me saying, hi, can I order a bunch of roses? Like, my brother's not ordered in time for his girlfriend, but at that time I had actually sold out. So I replied saying, oh, you're too late, like be more organised, next year I've sold out. And then I got,
poor fella.
Yeah. And then I got home and Mike said, oh, there was actually to buy for me because I wanted you to come home. It's like your flowers on the table.
That's cute, that. Well in,
Mike. And I was like, oh, that is like, it's such a nice thing.
The sentiment's lovely, that though, isn't it?
Because every year he buys me flowers, and this year you could tell he was like twitching because he was like, well, what are we going to do? Like, I'm not buying you any flowers.
Has he been enlightened into what good flowers are now then, with your...
Is he like a snob with flowers? Is he like, I'm not going to Asda to get flowers?
Because I think that would put pressure on me.
No,
if that was me and I was buying flowers for you.
Well, I was going to say, because you're around flowers all the time and you just like, oh, another bouquet of flowers.
Well, it's
they're not even bloody hydrangeas or flowers.
Do you know what? Like, when we're on holiday, he always gets them off the Lucky Men. But
I love that, you know. Is this real?
But we went on a last minute holiday in January, and he always is this person, like, it might give you the ick or you might think it's cute, but like when we're out, we've probably had a few gins by this point, he'll get the whole bouquet off the Lucky Men. So like, instead of buying one, he'll get the entire thing.
So he's helping the local economy also.
He is, yeah. But then like they just died, don't they? And I'm like, why did you wish him one? But when we was away, like he did get me one off a Lucky Man, and I just was stood at a bar like reflexing it. Like naturally just like reflexing it, and it ended up looking amazing.
I was going to say, probably did.
Flipping them back, yeah. So, yeah.
So all them out there, you want to go to Lucky Men, bring them home and take them to Stix Stems.
Reflex them. I basically bring things in, which are like either connected to a wedding day or part of a wedding day in one way or another.
Okay.
And to give you an example, this week I brought in something that I gifted to my wife on our wedding day, and it's this little thing here, right? So what you're basically looking at is green, a little love heart in, and Ryan and Becky, our date. Yeah. That is actually the lines to our first dance song.
Is it?
Very small thing, quite small, but also quite sentimental.
Yeah.
And the question off the back of that, from showing this is something that you could give to your partner, or whatever, if there's any lads out there, get the flowers off here and get this idea of us. What is the song that you think about as a couple. So not necessarily like your first dance song, although it might be. But this, for us, was always a song that we had even before our wedding day. It was just a song that reminds us of each other.
Yeah.
So is there a song that reminds you of each other? You've spoke quite highly about Mike there.
Yeah.
So you've obviously got a deeper connection, and there might be a song that signifies that. Doesn't have to be a love song. You can go first if you want, if she's still thinking.
You guys go.
So I think for me and Beth, we're being tight-lipped about ours because we're not married.
I actually looked at him and was like...
We're not married, and we don't want to obviously say our song publicly in case when we do get married, people go, that's their song.
I don't think it gets stolen because it's a bit random, but it's special to us.
You've said that in the past as well, haven't you? It's like when this sort of topic.
Yeah. But our song, one of the songs, probably only one person knows other than it because of why it's so strange, if that makes sense. But he's on it. And he's like, I know for a fact you and Beth are going to have that.
And do you listen to it in a different, like acoustically or?
Yes. So where we heard the song, I can't explain it.
It's a pop song.
It's a pop song, right? But one of the ways I loved it was it's like someone went on a talent show, sang it.
Sang it in a different way, made you think of it in a different way.
So to the point where I think if we ever, when we do get married, I would probably I would contact this person who went on the talent show and be like, you need to come to the wedding singer.
Got a good one there, haven't you?
So they didn't win the talent show. So they're not like, you know what I mean? It's not like Ollie Mears that didn't even win. I don't know why he went to Ollie Mears, but
But we also have a friend in the industry who we think could sing it in the way we wanted it to be.
Yeah, oh, that's
but it is unusual. It is an unusual song.
there for you.
No one's going to get the song, nobody.
Get it.
But if I was going to say another song, would be a James Bay song.
Yeah, that's.
We just went to Paris quite recently and watched James Bay.
Watch James Bay in Paris.
But is there a certain song that
we can remember
you think of?
Yeah.
When he sings?
Yeah.
That's not your first dance song, is it?
No, because the lyrics of the song is literally mine and Beth's life. It's
if you ever want to be in love.
Yeah.
And
have you seen where you can get the songs written for you? And
my brother did that as well.
Yeah,
my brother had this fella come. He stopped doing it, as well, because he was doing it for a couple of years coming out of COVID, and he basically must send like the groom or the bride, whoever's doing it for the other one, like a questionnaire, basically saying like, what's your story? What's like, just like generic questions, and then he'll go away and ChatGPT and write a song for them. So we come for my brother's speech. My brother stood and went, listen, I'm not really a big speaker, done a little bit of a speech, and then said, but I'll let, I forgot his name, who done it? But it was honestly unbelievable.
Because how many weddings we've filmed, and like
we've never seen it since.
See a lot of things that are the same, and I've never ever seen that from your brothers.
Do you remember
never seen it.
the boy band when he sang to his wife?
McFly.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, we loved that. Absolutely.
What's his name? Danny? Not Danny. Tom. Yeah. Tom Fletcher.
Yeah, that was brilliant back in the day. Yeah.
That was like a viral
I think
clip.
everybody got inspiration from that as well.
I think he went into YouTube after that clip because it obviously went viral. And
she's on the right side of it as well.
Yeah, she won Celebrity, didn't she?
Oh,
hey, these women.
We seem to have skipped over it. What's your song?
What was your first dance song?
It was actually, do you know Dan and Shay? It's the light pop country.
I feel like I've heard them.
Yeah, Dan and Shay. Well,
I'm sing it.
Oh God, I can't sing. But like my husband, like I've just said, that's pop country, and like he got me. He's the one. Like he plays the guitar, and he has got me into like country. Yeah. You knew I was gonna say that, didn't you? Like,
your husband sounds like the coolest guy ever.
He
rides a motorbike.
No,
he plays
sold
the guitar.
it for the wedding flowers.
God.
He sold it for the wedding flowers. No,
I didn't like story of it.
No, he actually.
Such a subject, isn't it, Mike? We won't go into
He bought a new one straight after, but he just sold it because we had the baby, and I was like, "You're not going out on that." But yeah, and then he told me, he was like, yes, I'm buying another motorbike. No, you know. But yeah, so he's always loved country. I mean, like, haven't we all from our parents?
I was going to say, country's coming massive now, though, isn't it? Like, more than ever.
Yeah, I love it. On Friday, we're going watching Cody Pennington in Liv. You are all looking at me dead blank.
I know, because
I don't know who that is. I
am
don't
not-
know.
In Liv,
I'm
you
not-
know, yeah.
I'm not on the country.
Matty's in touch with the music side.
He's,
So
he's
relaxed.
cool though.
Like, I wouldn't say I'm a music lover, but
then-
I just gravitate towards
I was gonna
chill.
say, like, the only thing that I used to always associate country music with was
Line dancing.
"Baby Lock Them Doors." that song.
I love that song.
Yeah, but that is like the most famous country song, isn't it? Like,
but now, Mike on his karaoke song
Is that
Chris Stapleton,
know Chris
Tennessee
Stapleton.
Whiskey.
Yeah.
But before it sort of became well known, and
Yeah.
but now it's got a bit he's only got 2 songs to sing on karaoke. But when he's had a drink, he's like, please write my name down.
Is he a good singer?
Go mad for this. What?
Is he a good singer?
Really good, yeah, really, really good.
So if the quantity surveyor didn't work out, he's got like...
Oh, he's not that good. Sorry, Mike.
Oh, poor
But,
Mike.
I know, he's a 2-hit wonder. But yeah, so we went watching Chris Stapleton a few months ago. So now all our friends love him because of Mike. And then I booked Friday for a surprise Christmas present for him. That's another country singer. So I feel not the words of Tennessee Whiskey, because it's probably about alcoholism or something. But
it became like a
just
bit of a
the
love song, didn't it?
The
Yeah.
song, yeah. So
lovely.
It's question time.
Lovely jubbly. Right, here's the questions for you. We can keep them quick fire because we've got a few for you. So it's up to you. You can just, some of them are probably already discussed already on the podcast. So I'll start with this one. Most popular flowers for the wedding.
Playa Blanca Rose.
Right, that's one. What is the average budget to dress a wedding venue?
That is so bespoke.
Is it?
Like we've just said, I'm trying to keep it short, but there's a lot of intimate weddings now, isn't there?
So the
Rather
budget's
than the
becoming a
big
little bit smaller because it's intimate still, or not?
It naturally, because then they don't have bridal bouquets and bridesmaid bouquets.
All right, then here's one for you.
An average
minimum,
80 guests.
minimum, and then highest
I'd say between 2.5 to 3.5.
is the minimum or the most?
Or is that the minimum and the most?
Yeah, I'd say 2 to 3.5. Bottom end would be 2.
Yeah.
Flowers, room dressing, and then all the other bits and bobs like your props and your mirrors and stuff like that. And then the top end would be 3.5, including an altar prop.
Which I think is still very
That is
reasonable.
very, very...
Yeah.
Especially at the level that
Well, you
you're
know
doing
what?
it.
I was
People come
saying,
away from me. Yeah, people come away from me and go, oh, I'm surprised. I thought you was going to be more. But I try and reuse everything from ceremony for reception.
Of course, yeah. Yeah.
And I just try and say to people, we're in the real world.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm not gonna.
That's really nice.
That is good. What trends are we going to see this year?
This year, I mean, I'm going to say that a lot of bridesmaids are wearing black this year, and I think, have you noticed the same when? You think
banging.
the banging.
I know. Who's that banging downstairs? Pack it in. Can you hear it, Matty?
Yeah, we can wait for it.
Sad. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I feel this year a lot of bridesmaids are wearing black.
Black
and a lot
dresses.
are doing black tie. You might have gathered
Yeah.
when you probably have a similar consult. Maybe yours is a bit closer to the wedding.
Yeah,
day,
ours is, to be fair,
but
yeah.
the vibe I feel is very minimalistic,
Timeless.
timeless, classic. But I think people are going a little bit more adventurous with the bouquet. I think they are choosing alternative producers. And maybe a product that isn't just your usual rose.
Yeah. I love when you're whispering a little bit you're
Overseas.
overseas. Would you recommend long or short stems for a bridal bouquet?
Oh, I like long.
Long?
Yeah, I still
Yeah.
like long.
Why long and not short?
I just think it looks a little bit more modern.
Modern?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not too long. I do, if I don't see the bride, I ask for a height.
Really?
And I sort of explain the way
reason,
yeah. But I'm gonna say long, but not too long.
Okay.
With a small ribbon instead of all the way down.
Love that. So what do you do if someone asks you to do a style that you're not a massive fan of?
Ooh.
Let me just consult my solicitor. Oh, that's me.
So I think I ask them, like, have they got like a picture just to like reaffirm that we are thinking of the same thing, and then I'd try and maybe persuade them.
So what you're saying is I'm not a fan of.
No, like I'd maybe say like, oh, this is this what you like, but have you looked at this?
Yeah.
And I'd maybe like, I always make boards for brides, like Pinterest boards, or like Instagram, like saved is unreal for me. Like I just have a lot of saved as well as Pinterest boards. And then I'll put it to them, and like most of the time they go like, oh my God, like that's even better than I was thinking. But obviously people like stand the ground with no, this is
That's
my vision. Yeah, it's what they want. I can't change that. I mean, I'm not about to, it depends on like how busy I am at that time, and like I'd maybe express to them that it's not my usual look, but I'm happy to help. If it's
good that you're being honest though with the couple, you know what I mean? You're not like misleading
and to yourself as well.
Yeah, it's
I
not.
think that's what sometimes we get drawn into, like,
of course,
doing somebody else's
false promises, isn't it, to people to sort of please them and just get the couple, where for you want to give them the best. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And if I'm like really happy with what I've given them, they might be disappointed because our visions aren't the same.
Yeah.
So I need to like make sure I've got a clear vision of what they want, and I mean I can't steer away from that if they're specifically telling me they want this style. So I would have to do the style. But if it's in the middle of wedding season, maybe I don't know. Maybe it's not the
that's fine.
for me.
Another question for you. The most...
Is that wrong?
No, I think that's right. At the end of the day, you're the expert and you're giving your expert advice.
Yeah.
They may think, I really want this, and then when you show them an alternative, they go, oh, that's like, you are right. Like, I don't know where I was going with that idea.
Yeah. I mean, like, I still will be able to do the look that they're going for.
You want to enjoy it as well, don't you?
Yeah.
I think that's a fair answer.
Good answer, that.
Yeah.
Good answer.
So here's another difficult question for you, and it is the most difficult thing about being a florist.
I think
Thorns.
well, injuries.
There you go.
I've already I snapped my nail, but I had that fixed the other day.
Just saying.
Wow, these are difficult things. No, I mean we spoke about self-motivation, and I've been telling you how motivated I am, really, really motivated, but there's times when I'm not. Do you know what I mean?
But do you know what's interesting? That when you're saying sometimes you're not, I think when you listen back to this podcast, you will inspire yourself and motivate yourself. I think when you listen back.
But I feel like if you have a lull, you guys will probably feel it as well.
Yeah.
If you have a lull, you can't get back into it.
It takes a lot, doesn't it, to get there?
Yeah.
But networking's good for getting you back to being motivated,
or
I think.
if you have a holiday, like you go, oh my God, I'm desperate for a holiday, I need a holiday. Sometimes it's worse because you can't get back into it.
Don't say that, I'm dying to go.
Don't do it.
I think sometimes I'm excited to come back and work though from holiday.
You are.
It refreshes you and you think, right, I want to get home now.
Yeah, I think just the way I am is I've got to keep going.
Yeah.
And if I stop, I'm like, oh, I can't be bothered going back into it. A difficult part is that it is 24/7 when you work for yourself, isn't it? And especially when, like, now I don't have a business partner, I am on my own. No one cares as much.
And it's important that if you want to bring someone on board, it's the trust, isn't it? For them to have the same vision, passion, you know what I mean?
How do you manage it? Because obviously you've got a little boy, haven't you? How do you manage it, like childcare and like
I was just going to say, like, that swings and roundabouts, like, it's hard because the last few weeks I've not been able to spend time with him. Yeah. And, like, I'm desperate to spend time with him. And he's not been well as well. So, like, he was off nursery and that's the time when he wants his mum. So it's been a bit rubbish the last few weeks. But now, when like the dust settles after Valentine's and whatnot, I can spend more time with him, and like I can pick him up from nursery, I can take him to nursery, whereas if I was still in a corporate job I wouldn't be able to do that. And like I make my own hours, so I'm not going to miss events for him, am I? And like, unless there's a wedding. But I think it's good to be self-employed and be a parent, but then at the same time it's hard when I want to be with,
because you can't.
It's like anything.
Yeah,
isn't
it's the
it?
balance.
Yeah.
It's all. I think when you're
if you're employed,
employed, it's your hours. Where when you're self-employed, it's sort of trying to get that balance to be like
we
switch off.
had the balance, and then we had another baby, and now there's just no balance, and we're still trying to find it.
Like so he gets babysat like over the road from my shop from my mother-in-law.
Lovely.
So like at lunchtime I'll just go and nip and see him. So that's handy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's difficult, but in other ways it's easier.
So what we're saying is we need to get a shop, Beth, a road from my mum and yours.
Across the street. That's it. That's the key.
Yeah.
Last question.
Yeah.
It's actually from our previous guest who was on last week, which is Makeup by Carla Knight. Shout out. Everyone go and listen to her episode as well. She was a legend. Thanks for the brownies. Her question is, do you think you'll stay here or move to Spain with your sisters?
Everybody asked me this.
And she said, I know what I'd prefer.
I moved.
I mean, when I started like the bit about me on the podcast, like I've told you that my dream was to move overseas. Why do I keep saying overseas? It's really weird.
Overseas. That's the episode name.
Overseas. But I feel so much more content now.
Yeah.
I honestly think like every December I get seasonal affective disorder. Well, January I get seasonal affective disorder. I cry. I go, I hate this weather. But since I've had the baby, I'm a much happier person. Like it's completely changed me into a more like content, happier person. So I feel like I've not got that desire. I would love to live abroad, but now I've got like my ties and I'm just a lot more content here.
Happy, yeah.
But like we are able to spend time abroad a lot.
Yeah.
Because like we did in the summer, like we drove over in a motorhome and we took the dog. And
Whose idea was that? Was that yours or Mike's?
Sounds like a Mike idea. That.
I think it was Mike. So we did. So in the
no, Mike, the way I
such a dream boat, isn't he?
Our Mike.
That's such a Mike thing
and
to do.
And on the way, we stopped off at the only place that sells Christian-based water, because Mike knew.
Yeah, so the first time Mike and his friend drove the dog in the car and I flew over. And we did.
I love that.
I know, because it was a Grand National. So Mike, his jobs were finishing, and that's never happened in his whole entire career. Like all his jobs finish at once. So he works like 2 or 3 jobs, and all he does like house builds and like sites.
Yeah.
So they all finished at once, and he had like I was going to say he had a gap, but he didn't have any more work. He knew as soon as he pitched for work that it would come. So he was like, right, once in my life, I'm gonna take this big break. So, and he was like, we'll just do 3 weeks, and then when I get bored, I'll start like applying for work, but he's freelance. And then it got to week 6 and I was like, mate, this is really like, you need to start working now. This is getting really bad. He was still in Spain. I'd flew home already to do a wedding, gone back to Spain after the wedding. And then, so I think we did 6 weeks then. And then we got Teddy's passport, the dog. And then in the August, just after, the day after my last wedding, I had a 4-week gap. So that was the one that we initially planned to do as a road trip. So we got the motorhome. Mike drove it from like Warrington and met me in Switzerland.
What?
Me and the baby jumped on the flight to Switzerland, and Mike picked us up in Switzerland. And then so we did like France, Switzerland, Spain. And it was really, really good. I think the baby was just at the right age, because now he's a toddler now.
Yeah.
He's 18 months.
Back to the dog though. When you say dog passport, I've never heard of this. Does the dog have a photo on the passport?
Literally. We need to put that on, but let me just search passport on my phone. It's the cutest thing ever.
Dog
because
passport.
it works
Matty?
out cheaper.
You getting a dog passport?
Yeah.
I wish.
It's in it. Oh, it's
Dog there.
Yeah. So it worked out cheaper than having to keep getting. Mike did all the paperwork, but I'm presuming it was a visa type.
Yeah.
And he kept having to have a rabies jab. Don't quote me on this, but the passport was much easier. I'm just going to search passport.
Is this so we can go on the plane?
No, it's so we can.
Go abroad?
He's too big for the plane. He's a Labrador.
Across the border.
Yeah. Also, there's all our 4 passports, including the dog.
Oh my God.
I'm learning everything today.
The blue one is can you not see?
What do you mean?
There he is. That's actually in Spain the day you got his passport. Can you see that?
Tilt your phone down a little bit. That'll be focused. There we go, you can see that.
That was when he got it. But I was saying to him the other day, Teddy, I'm so sorry, but you're not going on holiday this year. Like, we'll take you to
Your visa's expired.
Yeah, we'll take you to Towin this year. Oh. And then Mike was like, no, we have actually got to take him like over the border to France. So then we don't lose his passport, apparently. So I was like, yes.
Teddy.
Little mini road trip. But we're just going to take him to like the north and then go home again.
Lovely.
Because we're saving up. We want to move.
Good. So to wrap up, you probably don't know this either, what's coming, but what we always do, because obviously you've graced us with your time, which we know is important, obviously now based on talking to you as well, we always give out to our guests a little extra thing, and it's just a little something to remember us by.
Oh, amazing.
So we don't do flower arrangements or anything like that, but we do little mugs with our little logo on, but this is a gift to you to keep in your home.
Amazing.
You do whatever you want with it. Really.
I'll take it to Stix.
Yes.
We want it displayed on the Stix shelf.
Yeah, I'll be drinking out of that every day.
There you go.
Thank you.
Don't make promises you can't keep, Jess.
No, I will. Oh, amazing.
We all know they're fitted with trackers.
Yeah, but really, really do appreciate you coming in. And as we always say to most of our guests, well, all of them, would you come on again?
Yeah, I don't want to leave. Like, I just want to chat all day.
Because we always feel like with the first episode, it's just an introduction to people to get to know you, but the second time round, it's always going to be...
You want me on again?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Jessica.
you.